Freedom fighters, coming back at you with another one. Well, today we're going to be talking about precious metals and money, currency, and the difference between those two. We'll be getting into the economy and all kinds of different stuff. But, September is preparedness month. And I was going to do a video of some food packing or, food canning or something like that. But, literally everyone and their grandma is doing that now. I mean, literally there's channels, I think it's Alaskan Granny or Grandma Prepper, and countless of these, housewife, homesteading videos, doing all kinds of that stuff. And it's like, by now, if you don't know that you need water and some beans and rice, are you even human? Are you even operating at, room temperature IQ level? So yeah, there's that. But, same with the bug out bag videos and all that stuff. It's like there's literally hundreds, thousands of channels doing that, and you really can't improve upon, some of these setups. So it is what it is. I figure I'd talk about something a little different. And yeah, there's a lot of people doing this too, but, I figure I kind of go through this. I haven't done a, currency, money video quite like this. I touched on the economy a little bit in a past video, and I kind of wanted to do a further, deep dive and talk about, fractional banking and the Federal Reserve, and pretty much how we've been defrauded and stolen from. And, give you guys or someone who needs to hear this an education on what's going on. So, I mean, first of all, we got to explain some very simple things and, start from the beginning. Money 101. If you came to this video from that short that I posted with that little experiment, let's go ahead and run that again. Pull a dollar out. Any dollar will work. 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, it doesn't matter. And send them to Freedom Fighter P.O. Box at 1776. No, I'm just joking. But, yeah, I mean, any will do, but a dollar works best. Here, so, you got your dollar. And then I pointed out that it's actually, yours most likely says Federal Reserve Note. That's, what most have, but you may get lucky. I mean, these are still circulating today. See if I can even lift it up here, man. So this is a silver certificate, back when your money was real, and you would exchange your actual silver dollars. Get one of these. This is a peace dollar. And the camera is always tough on focusing, but what is this, a 23 or 28? Yeah, so, this is a $1. You see it there, even though it's upside down. And then you could exchange it for the paper version, a silver certificate. This was back when your money was real. But it's demanded by the Constitution because it says your only real money is gold and silver for debt and tender. So they still make current day, they're called Silver Eagles, current day silver coins, United States dollars. This is your real country's money. Not the fake stuff in your wallet, not that dusty change and, all that you have. That's basically just, they call it clad, which is usually like a zinc or a copper nickel, something like that. And then here's all your, the old change. It's pre-64, so anything 64 and under. You got your Kennedys here. And the genius part about this was basically anything $1.40 equals an ounce. So, you take some of your dimes here, whatever. Let's get 4. You add it to these 2 Kennedys. That's basically an ounce. You take those four dimes, add it to this peace dollar here, and you got an ounce. Because it's not 100%, it's not pure. So that's another thing. You have, this one's pure, the ones they're making today. But you got different, variations here. You've got, 999. You've got sterling, which is usually jewelry. That's 925, 92%. And then you got the coins, which are 90%. And believe it or not, they call that junk. It's not junk. It's, we call it constitutional. But, they went even further over time and stripped even more out of it. So I think the later 64s to I think maybe 68 or in the 70s, it was 40%. And then they took it out completely. And then you got stuff like this, which is they've even over time taken the copper, out of the cents here. So and this is all free, man. This is collected out of change. You look at pre-81 copper, and your cents aren't even copper anymore. Got some examples over here of just some other copper I got in bullion form. So that's pure 999. And I don't really recommend you getting that. Those are usually filler pieces. When you make orders, some of these sites cost you have to place $100 order. They're actually a lot more now. When I was buying, it was $100 orders for free shipping. Now some of these sites are $300, $500 for free shipping. So, but that's a good way to start there with some of that stuff. Take the copper pennies out, and maybe collect some copper. And then I guess we're going to go into, the difference between coins, and now that I bring out this bullion. So coins, if you don't know, are just things that a government has minted and put a price value on. So then you have stuff like this. Let me see. You've probably seen a lot. These are pretty popular and stuff like this. Buffalo rounds. And they call them rounds because they're round. Who would have thought? And then you got your silver bars. I got a couple variations here. Let's see, what do I have? We got a couple sunshine mints. Some Atmex. Some different variations. So this is kind of like a different, part of the realm of precious metals. This is kind of more of the stacking, strategy. They call it just stacking because it's just that, you kind of stack up your stuff. And then there's kind of coin collecting and in different variations, and they just call them rounds because they're round, and those are bars because they're bars. But yeah, coins are government minted with price values on them. And they come in all different kinds of shapes. So coins don't have to be round either. They make coins, I think it was Fiji that actually made a volcano coin. I think there's a Homer Simpson's donut coin. There's tons of coins like that. I actually have a coin in my collection that's a weird shape. I might have to go get that, and I'll be back using the magic of YouTube. Yeah, so here this is. I believe this is Egypt. This silver Egyptian coin here. And this thing's actually in pretty good shape. I was looking at this thing. I'm like, man, I might have to encapsulate this thing. Still got its luster on it and everything. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that is a official coin. So it can be all kinds of different shapes. That doesn't really matter. And another example of collecting, I went and grabbed this out of there to show you. So I got this here. the 1921 peace dollar, and this is the key date. Like, this is the one you want of the peace dollars. It's got some pretty nice toning and stuff on there too. But the difference here, this one will run you, depending on the shape. I think I paid like $200 for this one. Like a good one in good condition can run you like $500, something like that. So, that's the difference. This, current day metal prices, I should have started at that, is like, it's around like $28, $30. Let's just say 30 to keep the math easy in this video. But yeah, $30, versus your 200 here. So, that's your difference between collecting and stacking. If you wanted to stack, like these again, you're buying just for the metal content, you're talking, how much you can get there? 3, 6, you could get like 7 of those peace dollars instead of this just one, collector date. But there's different parts of the hobby and stuff like that, you get into. And that was just a piece that I've always wanted. And if you're talking about, like, we're going to get in here into the collapse and all these different avenues. And if you're doing this for the collapse, then you don't want to be into the collector stuff. Because, again, you would rather have the 7 or 8 peace dollars in weight, just pure weight that you can get, rather than have a collector's coin. Because when it comes to bad times and war and all that stuff like that, the saying is, it all goes in the pot. And what that means is it all just melts for its value. And you don't want to melt something like that. I mean, that's like history and, all that stuff. So the reason that coin is the price it is because it's struck with they call a high relief. So yeah, I mean, you don't want to be melting historic coins just for their weight value. If you're doing this for weight, you're going to want 7 of them, rather than 1. And that's also why I recommend, you pull the copper out and all this stuff, because they actually have, man, I got to figure out where that one is at too. I know I got a steel penny around here. I don't know if I'm going to go searching for it, but during the war, they took the pennies, well, they're actually cents, but they took the cent and they took the copper out and all that, and then they made them out of steel. Same with the nickels. They took the nickel out, the content. Now they actually changed that to silver. But, if you feel like those are the times we're coming back into, that's what you're going to want to save up on. Things of actual value, And, there's a really good documentary on the Roman denarius, and how Rome debased its money and stuff like that. And you've heard the saying, all roads lead to Rome. Remember that trend that people were posting TikTok videos and stuff of their boyfriends or their husbands or their dad, and asking them, how often they think about Rome, because it's pretty much where we're at here, So to avoid the collapse, well, not to avoid the collapse, but to cushion yourself against the collapse, you're going to want money, not currency. And hopefully I've dictated, or at least, shown you a little bit of the difference, between that. But there's different kinds of, let me go further into that. Currency, anything can be used as currency. Like you got your, like I said, Federal Reserve note. What is a note? A note is an IOU. If I wrote on a piece of paper, Freedom Fighter owes you $50, and put it on the kitchen table, that's an IOU. That is a Freedom Fighter note. Well, that is a Federal Reserve note, saying that that's the value you're getting from that. But currency can be used as anything. So like in the recent, they came out with a TV show from the video game Fallout. If you play that game, you know that the currency is bottle caps. And another video game I played, I think it was called World War Z or something like that, or that's the movie. It was like Daisy or something like that. I can't even remember it now. But the currency you used to buy stuff was zombie ears. So like proof of your kills, you would chop off the ears, bring it back to camp or whatever, get your food, your bowl of soup for supper, or whatever you needed, a roll of duct tape to fix something, or whatever. So that's the difference between currency and and money. Money is real. Money is the real thing. It's the content. And I got this bar here from Silver Gold Bull. I can't remember if this is Peter Schiff's company or some kind of Canadian company. One of these, metal guys, Mike Maloney or something. I forget who it is. But he's got this in the back is this nice shiny hollow foil, bowls. And in the corner there it says, "Build your wealth in ounces," which is one of my favorite sayings and really describes, the difference of money and currency. And, how you want to store your money is in ounces, and not worry about dollar amounts, because the currency always changes. Whether it's going to be bottle caps or one day, or, zombie ears or whatever. This is always going to be 10 ounces. Your paper is always just going to be a piece of paper. And everyone's heard the old story of the old lady, putting her money under her mattress. Grandma puts under $10, under her mattress in the 40s or whatever, and says, we're going to keep this for hard times, or just, I'll come back to it later. All that $10 is ever going to be is $10. Where if she put $10 in, this stuff, and her change, the silver quarters and Kennedys or whatnot, what the price, I think a quarter now is like $5. A roll of quarters, I think is like $220, $225, something like that. And I didn't explain it, but this is how you usually buy this stuff. You buy it $1 at a time, and yeah, it's the face value is 25 cents, so 4 of them is $1. But if you go into your coin shop, or you go in somewhere and say, I'm looking for $1 worth of quarters, you're paying $5 a piece. At least that was the going rate as of recently. Spot price always changes. The price of precious metals is always changing. But you shouldn't really worry about that. And that's what I'm going to explain later. Why you want your wealth in ounces. Like we said, grandma, passes away or something. Hands over her life savings or whatever. And, it's, let's say she's got, a bunch of money or whatnot, she put it in dollars. Again, that's all it's ever going to be is dollars, and it gets inflated away. You hear a lot of people too saying like, you need to invest in this kind of stuff. It's not an investment. It's a store of wealth. Investments, but there's better investments out there. People are in the stock market. You've got, your Googles, Apple, Nvidia, all this kind of stuff. But this is like where you want to store. Again, like the lady stuffing it under her mattress. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not going to be, doing, everything like, Bitcoin where it's jumping, $5,000, $10,000 a day. It's, and what is, you'll hear tons of these people like, it's going to the moon. And they're talking dollar amounts. They're coming from a premises that's already in the wrong area. And what's to the moon? Like I said, this is like, $30, $30 price tag right now. What are you looking to get? 60? Are you looking to double your money? Maybe 100, maybe 500, 1,000. Let's see. You buy this for $30 each, and then you say this goes to 1,000 an ounce. You got, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. I mean, what if it goes to 10K, 50,000 an ounce? I know there's people out there who's saying gold is going to 500,000 an ounce. Silver is going to be, 50,000 an ounce. So you got 50, 100, 150, 200, 250K, $250,000, and you spent $30 a piece on these. That's it, right? You're done. You're rich, right? No, that's not. You're not rich, because milk is now $15,000. Eggs are $5,000. Bread is $15,000. And you might as well take that last bit of money you got and go buy a Snickers, because you're not you when you're hangry. That's how it's going to be. So you need to not worry about the dollar amount and what it's going to go to the moon and it's going to be worth, again, $250,000. That's not it. You need to just worry about its 5 ounces. That's all that matters. And that's how they steal from you through inflation. It's a criminal racketeering scheme, pump and dump, Ponzi scheme. It's like they do it with the metals. They do it with everything. The markets, housing is a great example, because they let the crime run rampant. It brings property values down. They, shove everything down to the ground. Everyone flees. They move out. BlackRock comes in, buys out, entire apartment complexes and, housing and all this stuff. And then they enforce the law. And then they come in and sweep the town up, enforce the law. They'll say they're reinvesting and rebuilding, and then they sell it back to you high. It's done on purpose. It's a pump and dump. So don't be worrying about the fluctuations in prices. Just worry about ounces, because at the end of the day, that's what it's going to be. And then there's this app or this website, the inflation calculator, where, you can kind of look up how things used to cost. You got gas in the USA in like the 50s and 60s, when this stuff was still used, actual money. I mean, I can't see the dates on these. I know they're pre-64s, but I don't know exactly which ones. I think one is a 53 and the other is a 64 here. I don't know if that's going to get in the camera. Alright. But anyway, gas was, I think, 15, 20 cents. So you would be using, 1 to 2 of these or something else. And then you look at the price, like I said, that's, $2, I think, is the price of a dime now. So you're right in between there. Almost $3.50, $4. So it kind of keeps up. Again, if you would have just had that in regular change or your dollars, it wouldn't have matched up. And there are people do it with like suits and other items and cars. I was looking at, I think it was the Model A or the Model T back in the day, was like $300. So, you would take this, your dollar, and see if I can actually get it up off this platform. So yeah, you would get that. 300 of these would buy, you that car. Well, now, what is that? That would be $9,000. Like, that's not buying you a car. That might buy you a used car, but yeah, it's not buying you a new car. And people say, well, it's not the same because, heating and AC, and now you got, Wi-Fi hotspots and LED screens and radios and all kinds of stuff. And the Model T was just basically a wagon, horse and carriage with a basic motor in it that was moving it around. But, I mean, you see inflation with your own eyes, and you got your grandma, everyone's used to hearing, Sonny, back in my day, the cheeseburger was $0.25. Something like that, and you saw it with your very own eyes just a couple years ago. I mean, there's no more dollar menu. Everything that used to be on the dollar menu, like at McDonald's or something, is $2. And it's not even $2, it's 2 for $4. So it's only if you buy another one. The alone, it's like $3. So you saw it right before your eyes, things triple, and double, and Taco Bell and stuff. There used to be jokes. I think it was Pineapple Express where he said, "Oh, I got like $20. Like, what can I get?" And he was like, "Infinity." I forget what movie that was. It was Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill or something. But and then they did SNL skits back in the day. I forget what it was, but they were going to like Arby's or something, and it was like, yeah, you can get a double stack, ham and pastrami with bacon and this and fries and a drink and everything, and it's $4. And they were like, what? Like making a joke at like, all the stuff you can get. And then they lie to you now and tell you inflation is, what? They're like, oh no, it's only 8% or something like that. Bullshit. You've seen it right before in your eyes. Everything has doubled, if not, gone like 5x. I mean, certain things, lumber went like 400%, especially in the building, kind of sector. Construction, mortar, nails, tools, all that stuff skyrocketed. So, bullshit about those inflation numbers. Another great example that I saw is we bought Alaska for $7 million. Like, are you kidding me? Like, we are fighting a war right now via proxy with Ukraine and Russia, where they're firing off $1 million missiles every day, if not multiple times a day. So you see how worthless money becomes, and like, yeah, granted it was like 100 years ago, but still, if they would have took the payments in gold and money, it would be worth, if they said $7 million, whatever was the equivalency in ounces, they'd have billions of dollars today from that same payment. Instead, it's gone. 7 million nowadays evaporates. They fart $7 million. Like I said, they're just blowing missiles out that are, millions and millions of dollars. And I don't know if you watch that show Gold Rush. It's a gold mining show, usually focused in Alaska, and like the main character there is this guy Parker Schnabel or something like that. But yeah, I mean, Parker runs a big gold mine up there, and he pulls like 5 million, 10 million a season. Every year he pulls, 10 mil out of the ground. And that whole land, that whole state was purchased for $7 million. Like, that's ridiculous. And you look back at like the Louisiana Purchase. I forget what that was, like 10 or 12 million dollars. That was like the whole half of the United States of America, like from Louisiana, and it goes like all the way up to the Canadian border, like all the way up to the top of the United States. I think that's like Yellowstone, and all that stuff was purchased then. And some of that, granted, I think that was in gold. Some of it was in gold, and then like bonds and all kinds of stuff. But the only thing that matters is the money. The bonds and the IOUs and the promises of fake fiat, criminal bankster dollars means nothing. And the whole world is starting to figure out, and they no longer want these paper promises. The whole world's figuring out, we got stuff like BRICS now, where all these countries are coming together and they're making their money again actual, precious metals. It's a gold-backed system. So, and Trump tried to do it too. When he was in there, I forget, he tried to buy Greenland or Iceland. I can't remember, one of the lands, But, I don't even know what he offered him. Probably like a trillion, a multi-trillion, I don't know what it was. But nobody's having it anymore because they know that's going to become nothing. One day you sell the land, and your kids are gonna, grandpa, you sold our motherland and our, water rights and our minerals and everything for basically, the equivalence of a house and a car. Because already, every president has spent like 4 to 6 trillion dollars in their presidency. Basically $1 trillion every year. So you buy Greenland or Iceland, whichever one it was, for a couple $1 trillion. It's like we spend that every couple years, and then you factor in that over a time span. 50, 60, 80, 100 years, just like the Alaska deal and Louisiana Purchase. Louisiana Purchase, I think, was a lot later, but still, the country's only 250 years old or whatever. So it's like 200 something years. I can't remember exactly when the Alaska one was done, but again, you buy Greenland or Iceland right now for a couple $1 trillion, 100, 150 years down the road, they're like, again, right? Eggs are going to be $20,000. That's if we are still under this false system. People are trying to break free. That's what the movement is about. That's what BRICS and, all this stuff is. And, exchanging your fake paper dollars and getting into this will secure you when that time change happens. So, that's where we're at. This system, the way it's built, it's meant to impoverish you. It's meant to pull the wool over the sheep's eyes and steal from you. And that's what they're doing. And, Janet Yellen said one time, well, she said a lot of things, but one of her speeches, she's like, we need inflation. And she even admits, she's like, the target inflation is like 2 to 5%. So they want, if it was 5% every year, in 2 years, things are going to be 10% more, than they cost. In 10 years, what are you looking at? You're looking at another 50%. Things are going to be doubling, big time. And they're trying to pass us the lie. It's 8% right now, but we're coming down. We already know. That's BS. But it's all just going to continue. And that's the current state of where we're in. It's the inflation. But then you get into a whole nother beast. You get into the hyperinflation, and examples, Zimbabwe. I know a lot of people have that money. I wish I had an example for you, but they have $1 billion notes. So again, just like our, $1 Federal Reserve note, they couldn't, print the money fast enough, and the prices just keep rising, and they're like, pretty soon you need $100,000 to go to the grocery store. And then the next week you need 200,000, and then you need 1 million, and then you need 10 million, and price of eggs are $10 million. You get eggs, milk, bread, whatever, $500 million. So then they start having to print notes, print dollars that are hundreds of millions of dollars, and then they get into $1 billion, and then everything just collapses and goes to shit. And that's what happened in Venezuela. Same thing. I watched a documentary on their currency and all that, and they put the bills. They did the same thing, made $100,000 notes, do all this stuff, and then they changed currencies in the middle of it. They have basically just a banker, I think they call it a jubilee or a bailout, and they just wipe the slate clean and make a whole new other paper and say, oh, now we're using these. We use this kind. And then the old paper, there's videos and pictures of it. I'll try to post this stuff. But it literally litters the street like confetti because the worthless paper is no longer worth anything. And, Brad from Full Spectrum Survival coined this term. At first, it becomes worth less, and then it becomes worthless. So, yeah, at some point, it all goes away and all roads lead to Rome. And it all crashes, it all crumbles. The only thing that's ever stayed tried and true is this stuff right here. The actual money. This never changed. Governments always change. The currencies always change. Their lies always stay the same. Their promises always sound good and gravy, but it's always a lie. It never works. And of course, you got Weimar Republic, Germany, uh, tons of pictures and stuff coming out of there before the war of, people going to the grocery store with wheelbarrows full of cash. You literally had to, wheelbarrow your money in to buy stuff because the paper's worthless and it literally worth less than the paper you wipe your ass with. And we saw how much that went up when times got bad, so you might actually be using dollar bills here pretty soon. But yeah, I mean that's where it leads, man. It leads to revolutions, it leads to civil wars, it leads to world wars, all kinds of stuff, and it's pretty much where we're headed. We talked a little bit in that video about Alaska Prepper, and he talks a lot about cycles and stuff like that. And that's why the whole world is going crazy. AP did a good video too. I think it was called "Why Your Kids Are Quitting," or it was a "Why Millennials" or "Why Gen Z is Quitting." And yeah, they see no future ahead. Those good old boomer days are done with, where everything is cheap, and yeah, the burger is 25 cents, and you make a living wage, and you can buy a home and have a family, and pay for your kids' health care, and you have money, at the end of the year to go on vacations and, retire and all that. Like, yeah, Social Security, everyone knows that's not going to be there for you. Again, it's just more government promises that we know isn't going to happen. And basically, they know it's going down, and it's basically leading to war. A war is coming. And then that's the other thing. Then they want you to work, grind yourself to the bones and work and slave for them. And then they want you to go fight their wars for them on their behalf to uphold the status quo. Uphold the system that did this to you. Yeah, sure, go charge, the beaches of Normandy. I posted that meme one time of, yeah, we're doing this for transgender surgeries and, invaders and people who hate my country, and, walk into a path full of machine gun fire and mortar shells to uphold this system. Like, it's a freaking joke, and people aren't buying it anymore, man. So, I mean, yeah, that's what they want. They want you trapped within this system, and, they want you spending the money. They want you collecting your paper, IOUs, your paper promises. And I remember Obama gave a speech one time. I think it was during Christmas or something. I can't remember where it was at or what it was about. But I think it was like, basically, in order to get us out of this recession, I need you to spend your money. And he was telling people to go, buy, a bunch of useless crap. Like go get your Air Jordans and put your rims on the Escalade and, all that stuff. You might actually need the Air Jordans because there's going to be lots of running and, stuff going on. But, yeah, and you heard the term, you live in a glass house or something like that. Someone, I can't remember who, said, most people now are living in cardboard houses. They're these plopped up, cheap industrial, paper thin, paper mache walls, apartments, IKEA homes. Everything in the house, furniture is, filler board furniture. Everything's basically crumbling. And look, I'm guilty. I got, some of that stuff or whatnot, or, people spend their money on the big screen TVs and, stuff like that. And I have my crutches, video games and stuff. I don't smoke, I don't drink. So, a lot of people, could cut that money out. And people say like, oh man, I can't do this, like I can't buy this stuff. No, you can, man. And I know it sounds cliche when someone says, oh, if I can do it, you can do it. But I am almost guaranteeing nobody watching this video is poorer than I am. So, you know, if you're working some low class job or whatever, even if be it retail, if you're working at Walmart or whatnot, and you're just like, I just can't, like, I can't do it, you got to cut out the, you know, a lot of these people are, again, like, if you're smoking or drinking, that's a big thing. You're spending a lot of money there, but I understand you can't cut that out. But, you know, I had a friend who was big into the coffee drinking. And like, yeah, man, he said, oh no, I gotta have coffee. But you don't need a Starbucks coffee. I mean, it's freaking ridiculous. The Starbucks coffee like $8 a coffee now. Like, are you freaking kidding me, man? And you know, I never was a big coffee person. I was kind of more like into teas and stuff. I like going to tea shops, and you know, then they came out with these bubble teas and everything. But you know, I don't even think I had one this summer. But they got ridiculous, man. It was getting up there. It was like $6 a drink or something. And, you know, you pick that up every day, you're spending freaking money. Again, man, save that up. Even if you go into a shop, you know, once a week, once a month, pick up one of these. Spend that $30 and just put that away over time. Eventually, you know, it accumulates. And like I said, we all have our crutches, man. We're all guilty. We all spend on, you know, something that we probably shouldn't. Like I said, you know, video games, man, is kind of like my escape and stuff like that now. I mean, those things are like $60 a pop, you know. Granted, I don't play as much as I do. I only play like 2 or 3 games, but, you know, still, you're talking $120, $180 there. So let me know, man. Are you guys, you know, doing this? Is this something new to you? Again, if you already know this, I know you know somebody who needs to hear this. This is probably one of my most important videos, so definitely like share this far and wide. Sit somebody down who needs to hear this and show it to them, and you know, teach them along the way, or tell them, show them, you know, your collection or something like that. You know, if you're showing some little ones, you know, I'm not sure, did I use bad language in this or not? Some things might not be too kid-friendly, but, you know, teach them on your own. Show them some of your collection. You know, just show people that people need to learn it, man. Before it gets too crazy, man, and it actually is unattainable. You know, when it becomes those, you know, $10,000 prices or whatnot. You know, if we get there, or we just head up to, you know, straight up collapse. But, you know, at that point, it's gonna be crazy, and it's already crazy, man. Like I said, I'm slowing way down, and I've kind of started the collection side again. Here and there, I just get a couple cool pieces. You know, I'm a student of history, you know, and a lot of this stuff has history behind it. That's what I get into. You know, maybe I'll do another video sometime of the collection stuff or something like that. Maybe I'll go get a couple pieces. All right, yeah, I'm back. I actually just grabbed some. So I got this one recently. This thing's pretty cool. This is the Baby King, they call it. Looks like the freaking Gerber baby, you know, on this coin. And yeah, I mean, I thought that was pretty interesting. So I picked that up, and then, you know, when you see something like that, it makes me wonder, like, you know, what happened with this? You know, like, what's the reasoning of this? So then I look into it, and, you know, I can't remember it verbatim or exactly what happened here, but, you know, his father got sick or something. This King Alfonso is what it is. And basically the crown was thrust upon him, you know, and he was basically king from birth. And then they have coins of him as, like, you know, a boy, like when he was 7 or 8, then a teenager. And then I think at some point there was some kind of coup or, like, war that went on, and he got overthrown or something. So, I mean, that's what coin collecting can get you into, you know, learning the history and, of different countries and cultures and all kinds of shit. Um, then I got this one here, which we really won't name or talk about, because I don't want the video even further shadow banned or demonetized. But yeah, and then freedom. Why do you have that? Are you one of them? Again, no. Just because I have something, it's about the history. It's about a story to be told. And when you hold something like that, especially if, like when you have Civil War era coins or something. I have a few like lower 1800s, stuff like that. Nothing revolutionary though. Man, like, can you imagine holding some revolutionary coins? The story those things would tell. You don't know, like, that could have passed through the hands of the founding fathers or something like that, But yeah, just because I have that doesn't mean I am one. And then, I got a freaking commie star here. A Cuban peso, a Libertad. 1934 peso commies. But this one also a cool story. So the United States actually made this coin. It's actually the exact same thing as the US dollars. So yeah, you take the exact same planchet. I don't have it exactly on there, but you get exact same weight and everything. The U.S. was minting these coins for Cuba. So this is the exact same silver, the exact same weight, and everything. Making Cuba's coins. So you got cool stories like that, man. People don't know about that stuff. And then another commie coin here. This one's actually pretty cool. This is like the Soviet Russia like workers union coin here. You got them pounding on an anvil with some gears and some tools and stuff in the back. And then you got your hammer and sickle USSR Russia or whatever. So yeah, man, I mean, lots of cool different stuff to get into, different avenues, but it's a hobby. It's a hobby, and you learn and stuff along the way. I would just, hop into it if you haven't already. And again, man, share, like, and subscribe. It helped the channel out. I'm probably, I might do another video on this or something, but, I'm probably going to put this in the gear review section of the channel. Even though it is politics as well. I mean, money is politics, but I'll probably put it in the gear review channel. Because this is going to be another tool, in the tool chest that you're going to need for, what's coming. But, yeah. And, I mean, let me know, too, if you guys want, the preparedness month video with some options of stuff you need. Again, everyone knows you need water, rice, beans, bullets, band-aids, right? But yeah, man, let me know. And I'm just rambling at this point. This is probably gonna be one of my longest videos. I hope you're still here with me. I try to keep my videos kind of to the point and like 10 minutes long. It always amazes me how long, when you get in front of the camera, I'm like, all right, what am I going to talk about today? Like, what am I doing? And then I just start rambling, and before I know it, I look at the phone, and it's like 15 minutes. And I'm like, man, I was just going to make, a quick, like, 5-10 minute video real quick. So, I mean, this one is going on a couple takes here. So, yeah, I mean, I've got at least 30-40 minutes of stuff here. So, I'm going to leave it there, man. Like, share, subscribe, and until the next one, you know what it is, man. We are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom Fighters out.